And so, hello guys, and we are back again. So we see some upgrades for Tarkir Dragonstorm set that is coming to be legal in a few days, and we explore this another existing archetype, which I think I saw personally its performance and also an arena, which I think is very good way to do some of this new tech with using the relevant card here, which is Raise the Past. So this card, you can see, return all each cards with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So what does the new setup here would offer to this kind of graveyard shenanigans? Let's check on the deck. We have the 33 creatures, 3 enchantments, the new cards, 20 lands, and of course the 4 sorcery, namesake Raise the Past. So we get to look at our lineup. If you have seen this before or have faced this during your daily grinds on MTG Arena or MTG Online, or even during your weekly events, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the lineup with this usual 1-drops and 2-drops, but let us discuss this one further. We have the first 4-up copy of Gnawing Vermin. So this goes with the self-meaning yourself. It target player mills 2 cards, it enters, and then when it dies, you can target the creature you don't control with -1/-1. So in any case, you can use this one as a fodder, and later on can also get you to sacrifice this and deal off with maybe a lower elf from your opponent or any other creature that needs to be -1/-1 in any situation, and be able to return this off later, which also fits up your graveyard. And the other card that may be relevant here with the 4-ups is Snarling Gorehound. This ability goes with a -1/1 that whenever a creature or another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you will surveil 1. And surveilling means you get to look at the top card library and then put it in your graveyard, or you may put it, but basically you get to fill up your graveyard so that you can be able to come up with a huge Raise the Past in the late game. And aside from that, the other one of choices here, 2 copies of Infestation Sage. This also goes to be a good fodder for the sacrifice effects and replaces itself by creating a 1/1 black and green insect creature token with flying. And the other creature which came from Ethergriff is Nesting Bot, which starts your engines, and at the same time, when it dies, it's create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token, which also replaces itself. In that way, we also consider a lot of copy of Gas Guzzler. So this creature goes with not only just a 1-drop, but also gets the benefit if you get to max speed, where you can able to start your engines. You get this ability that you can pay black, sacrifice another creature or vehicle, and you draw a card. So in this way, with this kind of setup, you know that your late game would be really sufficient with cardo effects, and also recursion with Raise the Past will really benefit you well with this ETB and die triggers that goes in your graveyard. And that we go next to our 2-drops. Our relevant creatures here are 2 copies of Bartolomeo Presidio. Its ability as our fodder for sacrificing engine, sacrificing a creature artifact, put up some counter on it. Next, we have copies of Celestial Core, which also gets the benefit that when a creature enters to your control, you gain 1 life, and then when the creature you control dies, its opponent loses 1 life, and at the same time gets you a 2/2 body. Another engine for this deck are 2 copies of Zahurug Raise the Past. It also goes with Search Engine effect. It's a 3/2 creature, but its engine trigger would only get you to activate only once its turn, but at the same time you get to surveil 1, and if you get max speed, token creature you control dies, you will create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token, which basically each of your token creatures gets to replace itself. And the other 2-drops here before we go with the new cards, a copy here of a Vengeful Blood Witch, which of course the trigger of dice that gets you to benefit and can basically kill off your opponent with the sacrifice effects, and Raise the Past and the sacrificing effects again is the copy of your Vengeful Blood Witch. We have 4 copies in the deck, so make sure that you can basically curve out with this creature. You can just basically go with the old school attacking and then have your creature dying, and trigger this ability to have your opponents lose life and you gain life. And that before we have some benefit with the Blood Witch, which is this new card, Voice of Victory from Tarkir Dragonstorm. So this is 2 mana, 1/3 creature, human bard, with a mobilize effect. And your opponents can cast spells during your turn. This is also beneficial because if you'll be able to do the trigger or your combo off or mini combo on your turn, you will not be disrupted because of this static ability. And at the same time, this mobilize effects goes well to benefit your sacrifice, because if you check this ability from this card, this creature attacks, create 2 tap attacking 1/1 red warrior creature tokens, and then sacrifice them at the beginning of your next end step. So at the same time you get to sacrifice it, you can also use your engines to pump up your creatures, or if they die by themselves, this would still trigger Vengeful Blood, which wherein this die effect would have your opponents lose 1 life and you gain 1 life. So this is basically a card mini combo here that you can see, which you can be very beneficial and can have you a good clock advance with this kind of deck. And the other 2 drop here, which is an Axa utility creature in this deck, are your 2 copies of Sunpearl Kirin. So this ability that it flashes in, it has flying, and when it enters, return up to 1 other target non-permanent you control. And if it was a token, it was returned, you will draw a card. But the good thing here is that you can return non-permanents, basically having some ETB effects, and at the same time, you can also trigger this card such as this one, which is basically a good target for your Thunder of Unity as a good target of the Kirin to return, so that you'll be able to reset the lore counter. But the good thing here is that you can also have some ETB effects that triggers for the same amount as this one. Whenever a creature control enters this turn, its opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And that we wrap up the creature lineups with the cards from Dustborn. We have a copy of Enduring Innocence, wherein whenever 1 or more creatures you control with Portfolio enters, draw a card and only triggers 1. But this is also at the same time a 2/1 in itself with lifelink, and when it dies, it will become an enchantment under your control. And that also, we have 2 copies of Overlord of Belmort. This acts also as a filler for your graveyard, but also its ability of impending can make you to mill 4 cards, and then you may return a non-avatar creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. Basically, sort of a mini recursion of 1 of your relevant creatures that you can get back to your hand and play it again for added value. So that is the creature lineup in this deck. We take a look again of the Thunder of Unity card. So this new card is basically Mardu colors. That's why we consider this deck shifting from not only black-white build, but also that of the Mardu list. We have Thunder of Unity. Its lower counter 1 is you draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. So basically very relevant for an aggro deck. And lose life would not really matter because you have cards that can gain you life with the Celestial Core. And then whenever a creature control enters this turn with the lore 2 and 3, you have your opponents lose life and you gain 1 life. So just imagine you can curve into this with a lot of effects, and then have this one cast with the second, the third, or second or third lore counter, and then you cast Raise the Past to have that massive trigger of lose life and gain life effect from your opponent. And wrapping up is your 20 lands. Before we go with this, we know again that this ability is you basically as a main component of this deck. We need to also to have a good mana fix because we're now running 3 colors in the deck. So of course the usual shenanigans aside from the Concealed Courtyard is we have considered also Inspiring Vantage, that's 4 of copies, and 4 copies of Blacklead Cliffs for the red mana. And that we still considered Caves of Koilos and a copy of the Sulphur Springs for the mana fix. At the same time, we need also some Surveillance, wherein we still have 3 Shadowy Backstreet in the main deck to have also a good mana fix. At the same time, you get to additional free filling of your graveyard with your creatures for your Raise the Past shenanigans. So aside from adding the basic lands, we now have a total of 20 lands in the main deck. And we check on the deck stats. We have pretty much an even of black and white in the main deck, but of course we know that if we go with this kind of build for the 3 colors, we are now open for burn effects in the sideboard, which of course we'll soon have an upgraded version in the future. But for now we have this production which pretty much supported with this kind of color costing breakdown. And the average mana value is 2.1, which basically you can survive with just 3 to 4 mana, with 4 mana only for Raise the Past to do your shenanigans in the late game. And we check on some tokens. We have 4 tokens in the deck: Insect token, Servo token, Warrior token, and the Zombie token from Zaur. So overall, I think this would be a good shenanigan list or a version of the sacrifice deck. If you're a fan of this one, or if you've been playing this, I suggest you convert to this kind of version to have red for access to thunder immunity, and of course a main deck situation of having voice of victory, which really consider you to go off without your opponent disrupting you or doing some of his or her own shenanigans to prevent you from winning your games. And I think that's it, guys, for this one. Just a quick little update for this kind of deck. I'm pretty sure you were already excited to try Tarkir Dragonstorm with the welcoming again of the clans, of Tarkir in the standard metagame. And don't forget to notifications bell on, and we need to appreciate every subscription and like from you guys, and listening to this quick rundown of a deck tech video for Tarkir Dragonstorm standard. And guys, thank you for watching, and see you guys on the next video.